Even though it's easy to look at acting as privileged people being paid millions of dollars to play pretend, it's obviously so much more than that. Getting into character, staying there, and leaving a thoroughly convinced audience moved or entertained is no easy feat. And this often spans far beyond simply memorizing the lines and performing them in a compelling way on set. Actors sometimes have to put themselves through immense physical and mental rigors to deliver the work that ends up on screens worldwide. I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 actors who put themselves through hell for upcoming movies. Number 10, Stellan Skarsgård spent 8 hours a day in makeup. Dune. The primary antagonist in Denis Villeneuve's much-anticipated adaptation of Frank Herbert's sci-fi opus Dune is Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, as will be played by Stellan Skarsgård. Considering that the character in the novel is so absurdly huge that anti-gravity devices are required to support him, it's a little surprise that Skarsgård had to sit up in the makeup chair to be transformed into the Baron. While it's not unheard of for actors to spend 2, 3 or 4 hours in makeup for drastic alterations to their appearance, Skarsgård ended up spending a patience-testing 8 hours per shooting day getting makeup and prosthetics applied. Thankfully for Skarsgård, the Baron's role in the movie is relatively small, and so he only needed to go through the process 10 different times. Even so though, that amounts to 80 hours, more than 3 entire days, getting slap applied to his face and body, a process which would surely drive even the most perfectly sane person nuts. Number 9. Harrison Ford cycled 40 miles a day to get into shape and injured his shoulder. Indiana Jones 5. As much as many Indiana Jones fans might deem a 5th entry into the franchise totally unnecessary, 79-year-old star Harrison Ford seems determined to stay in shape and prove he's still got what it takes to play the iconic globe-trotting adventurer. Ford has reportedly been put on an intense exercise regime throughout production, whereby he cycles up to 40 miles a day before heading to set and then shooting for almost a full 12 hours. Hell, the guy was literally doing it just outside my flat in Newcastle not a few months ago. That's how much of a mad legend he is. It's a schedule which would leave a man 1/3 his age positively knackered after a week. So the fact that Ford's sticking to this schedule for the film's several months shoot is a staggering testament to his stamina and longevity. While the concerns about Indy 5 are understandable, Ford's in about as great shape as any 79-year-old actor ever has been. So hopefully he'll do the character justice one last time, even with a recent shoulder injury forcing production to shoot around him for a few weeks. Number 8. Steve-O was paralysed from the waist down and dived into a pool of urine. Jackass forever. On one hand, it'll be great to see the Jackass crew back in the saddle again for a 4th movie, but on the other, isn't self-torture a young man's game? After all, Johnny Knoxville turned 50 years old earlier this year, while Steve-O just recently turned 47. And at this point, fans might be left cringing in fear rather than laughing uproariously at their injurious antics. Confirming his commitment to the cause regardless though, Steve-O recently revealed that he convinced a doctor to medicinally paralyze him from the waist down for a stunt in the film where he attempts to see how far he can run before the drug kicks in. And because that's apparently not traumatic enough, he added that he also partook in a stunt where he performed a belly flop into a 190-gallon vat of urine. At least we know he made it through these stunts in one piece though. Number 7. Kate Winslet learned to breathe underwater for over 7 minutes. Avatar 2. After Kate Winslet had an incredibly tough time on the production of Titanic, it seemed unlikely that she'd ever work with James Cameron again, nor subject herself to any acting job which involved copious amounts of water. But to the surprise of many, the Oscar-winning actress was recently confirmed to be a part of the huge ensemble cast for Cameron's Avatar 2, where she'll play Ronald. Though Winslet only shot scenes for a month, she spent an additional 4 weeks undergoing intense free-diving training, where she ended up being able to hold her breath for over 7 minutes long, beating Tom Cruise's prior record of 6 minutes while shooting Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. So yeah, talk about getting thrown in at the deep end, literally. Number 6, the cast went through a 3-month training camp to prepare for flying. Top Gun Maverick. Impressively, Top Gun Maverick's vertiginous fighter jet sequences will be shot largely practical, with director Joseph Kosinski and star Tom Cruise insisting upon the film being as much a tactile physical experience as possible for both the cast and the audience. Many of the principal cast members were actually trained to fly a jet for real as well, but before that, Cruise had his younger co-stars put through a boot camp of sorts to prepare them for the physical rigors of flight. The likes of Miles Teller, Glenn Powell, Lewis Pullman, and Monica Barbaro were reportedly put through a 3-month training regime to acclimate them to the immense G-forces that would be enacted upon them during the flight. This included water survival training where the actors were blindfolded in a water tank and had to find their way to the surface, with Cruise himself also taking part in all of the exercises because, of course, he's never one to miss a trick, is he? This is exactly the sort of wonderful insanity you can get away with when you've got $150 million on the table and a leading man as committed to the cause as Tom Cruise. Number 5. Ana de Armas spent 9 months perfecting Marilyn Monroe's voice, blonde. Far away from punishing hours in the makeup chair and self-inflicted physical torture, we have the sheer exhausting challenge of learning an accent, as Ana de Armas had to do while prepping to play Marilyn Monroe in Andrew Dominique's new Netflix-backed biopic, Blonde. In Armas' case, the challenge ran double. She not only had to attempt to approximate one of the most distinctive voices in the history of Hollywood, but she also had to shake her distinctive Cuban accent at the same time. As a result, it's not remotely surprising that the actress described the 9 months she spent perfecting the voice with a dialect coach as torture, which in addition to coaching and practice required some ADR dubbing in post-production to finish the job. By the time she was done with the film, Armas said, quote, "My brain was fried." Number 4. Jennifer Lawrence cut her eyelids in a botched stunt. Don't Look Up. Jennifer Lawrence will co-star opposite Leonardo DiCaprio in Adam McKay's new movie Don't Look Up, playing a lowly astronomer who attempts to convince humanity of the imminent danger of a comet on course to destroy Earth. Adam McKay isn't exactly a director most people would associate with danger though. His films such as Anchorman, The Big Short and Vice are better known for their dialogue than their splashy action sequences, so where's the risk? Well, unfortunately, Lawrence suffered a minor but wince-inducing injury while shooting a scene back in February, when a controlled glass explosion went wrong and catapulted shards into her face, resulting in one of her eyelids being cut. Shooting was immediately halted and the next day's filming was cancelled while Lawrence was taken care of, though she was fortunately back on set the day afterwards. Even so, had things gone slightly differently, the story could have been much more dire for the A-lister, who sported a prominent gash on her eyelid when shooting resumed. Number 3. Tom Cruise trained for months to drive a motorcycle off a cliff. Mission Impossible 7. There's no A-list actor today who more willingly throws themselves in harm's way than Tom Cruise. And though incredible safety precautions are obviously taken for his stunt work on the Mission Impossible movies, it still presents a non-zero risk that he could get injured or, God forbid, even die. And Cruise was of course back at it again for the 7th Mission Impossible film, where in an attempt to top the death-defying stunts in the previous films, which included hanging from a plane and piloting a chopper for real, he drove a motorcycle off the edge of a cliff and deployed a parachute in mid-air. Cruise described the stunt, which he spent months training for, as the most dangerous of his career due to the numerous variables which could affect the outcome, namely wind conditions, the chopper filming the shot, and his angle of departure from the cliff ramp. Thankfully though, he clearly made it out in one piece, and if the raw footage captured on set is any indication, it's going to look absolutely bonkers in the movie itself. Number 2. Kumail Nanjiani gave up carbs and sugar for an entire year, Eternals. When Kumail Nanjiani was cast to play a cosmic energy-projecting superhero in Eternals, nobody expected the typically slender actor to hit the gym hard, but that's exactly what he did. In late 2019, the actor posted shirtless pictures of himself to social media where he looked, for want of a better word, freaking jacked. Fans of the actor-comedian were shocked at his staggering physical transformation, but unsurprisingly it was a physical change which required a horrendous, torturous heft of effort on his part. Nanjiani said that he worked with, quote, the best trainers and nutritionists paid for by the biggest studio in the world, and while he didn't mind the exercise part, he found the nutritional side of things extremely difficult. To achieve this cut look, he had to remove all refined sugars from his diet, and aside from a cheat meal 1 day per week, largely cut carbs out of his diet as well. Unsurprisingly, once production wrapped, the actor gorged himself on pizza and cake to celebrate a year of agonizing restraint. Number 1. Dwayne Johnson went through his hardest training regime ever, Black Adam. You need only take one look at Dwayne Johnson to believe the guy eats, bleeds, and sweats physical fitness. I mean, his insanely demanding daily routine would leave most mere mortals begging for the sweet release of death by lunchtime, if not breakfast. But by his own admission, The Rock took his comprehensive training regime to unheard of levels while honing his already sculpted physique for the recently wrapped DC superhero movie Black Adam. In addition to hitting the gym like his life depended on it, diet, Johnson also manipulated his water and sodium intake for certain scenes to further emphasize his muscular nature. All in all, the process took the phenomenally built Johnson months to dial in, though as evidenced by the man's social media posts, he has truly outdone himself and achieved a jaw-dropping physique worthy of an actual god. So that's our list. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you looking forward to these upcoming transformations, and are there any cool ones I missed off here? While you're down there as well, could you please give us a like, share, subscribe, and head over to whatculture.com for more lists and news like this every single day. Even if you don't know, I've been Josh. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.